up for your NPI insurance number. All right. So before you leave today, you will be signed up for your NPI. Remember, your insurance number is also called your National Provider Identification Number. Okay, National Provider Identification Number. You will have that. You will have your application for that submitted today. Things you will need for the application. You have your EIN number, which is your employee identification number, and a state license. In our case, we have a cosmetology or a barber license. So those would be our state license, or you can even use your instructor license. So any type of state license. I even had an individual who was a nurse, and she was able to use her nursing license. All right, so like I said, if you have questions, guys, remember you can tap in back and forth because I will be checking in for the questions. Let me see if I can put a banner up. Leave questions. Leave questions. All right. So what is a National Provider Identification Number? It is a 10-digit numeric identifier for healthcare providers. It's like our medical ID. So just like we have a EIN number, an employee identification number to identify our business, we also have a medical provider ID number that we have to have when we are dealing with our clients and their insurance companies, or even anything that's dealing with their medical insurance. So certified hair loss professionals are considered healthcare suppliers. So we all have different categories. There's different providers that you have. You have your primary providers like your doctors. You have psychologists. They are able to get insurance numbers. Even ambulance companies, ambulance trust companies, they get insurance. They can get NPI numbers. So we will be listed with these group of individuals. But we would fall under healthcare suppliers of durable medical equipment. So if you ever see somebody say they're a DME provider, that'd be, they usually provide things like prosthetics, like prosthetic arms, prosthetic legs, and a whole bunch of other supplies. We would fall under that category because we're doing prosthetic wigs. I'm taking it in, make sure the comments. And if I'm going too fast for anybody, tell me to slow down because I get into it. All right, so medical provider requirements. What do you need? What do you need to be able to become a medical provider? Because that's what an insurance number allows you to be. So as hair loss professionals, we can be listed as medical providers with insurance companies and vendors with medical facilities. So this includes master cosmetologists, master barbers, or regular barbers, hair loss professionals, to name a few. And when I say hair loss professionals, that's a whole umbrella, like, your trichology, non-surgical hair replacement, hair loss practitioner, all of that. So each company requires certain information, but here are the basic requirements that you will need before you get on with any insurance company. You will need a national NPI identification number, NPI number, a tax identification number, which is also your EIN, a state license, and a certificate of completion in a specialization. So in our case, if you want to get that specialization, would be considered your hair loss specialist, non-surgical hair replacement, trichologist, hair loss practitioner, etc. You need to have some type of certificate of completion because many companies actually ask that question, like, what specializes you, what allows you to be able to do this, because they're not letting anybody just be a medical insurance. So you do got to make sure you're on point with that. All right. Like I say, if you have any questions, guys, let me move this out of the way. If you have any questions, though, leave it down at the bottom. I want to be blocking the thing. So just in case y'all didn't see that last slide. Just want to make sure y'all saw everything down at the bottom. I was just pointing at the different certificate of completion. So remember, NPI number, tax ID number, state license, certificate of completion, and a specialization. You have that information, you most likely can get on. You can get on with an insurance company. Each company has their own set of rules, but that is what you'll be needing. So qualified services. I get this question all the time. What can actually be billed to insurance? Okay, what services as a hairstylist can be covered? So of course, we all know hair loss is an epidemic and it's progressively increasing. And it's coming a lot from medical reasons with our clients. Maybe they're nutrient deficient, maybe they're going through chemotherapy, maybe they have an ailment that their result, like lupus, they are losing their hair because they have a autoimmune disease. So we understand that some people's hair loss is a result of medical reasonings. So beauty professionals, we can assist this, and the medical industry has also saw this, and they're like, yeah, you know what, this is not a cosmetic thing at this point. This is something that individuals are really needing. So we have the field of non-surgical hair replacement that we can actually give to our clients. And we're doing this as a medical wig. Now, I don't want you guys to confuse this with like lace fronts. Well, lace fronts, do you have very high, very detailed, highly priced lace fronts, but I'm not talking about something that you can go get from the Asian hair store. These are actually medical, classified as medical wigs. Okay. So you want to make sure that, we keep the integrity when it comes to that. So as a medical provider, remember, we are durable medical equipment providers. We are able to bill insurance and request a cranial prosthesis, meaning this is a hair system that is customized to this client, and really nobody else can fit it because it's made just for this person's area of hair loss. And whether that is a full unit, just a partial, this is their unit, and we provide that to them. And these services, these wigs can cost anywhere from $200 on up to $2,000-$3,000. It just depends on what type of base you're using. And as a stylist, we do have to mark up these the actual hair systems. But we are able to build this service, and only this service. We can officially cover hair systems and medical wigs because we are only providers and suppliers in the industry with our license type. Now, the reason why I'm putting emphasis on that, individuals often, with us being trichologists, hair loss practitioners, we want to build other things like, can I build my hair restoration services? Come back in. We might want to build our hair restoration services or something like that. I'm not saying that you can't do that, but you cannot put that on the form. Okay, you can only put that you are requesting funds for a non-surgical hair replacement item. And if you come into my class, I really try to help you see how you can do that. But just know on that document, that claim form that we have to do, you will only put cranial prosthesis. So if you want to be creative with it, actually doctors do this as well. Let's say a person's plan is a $1,500 plan, or that's the service. You can put them on a plan. It's a $1,500 plan, but you also know they need like some type of covering. In that case, you could do your claim for $1,500 and maybe get a unit, a hair unit, maybe a nice little lace front they can cover, and then the rest of the funding to go towards their plan. You can do that, but on that form, that medical claim form, you will only put that they're getting the cranial prosthesis, because that's what insurance covers. If you don't want your claim rejected, and the claim is the form that we actually put it's an application. You pretty much do an application to submit and request these funds. So that is what you have to put on there, that you'll have a cranial prosthesis unit. And there's actually a code for that, and you'll learn all those codes in the classes as well. Okay, so everybody with me on that? Thumbs up if you with me, because I know this could be, I hear it all the time. I hear the language all the time, and I don't want to make sure I'm talking, over anyone's head. So just let me know if y'all understanding that you can only bill it. You can only put on the claim that it is covering a cranial prosthesis unit. Okay. But if you're trying to cover hair restoration services, do not put that on there because they will deny it. But if you get enough funding, you can pretty much, the company mails you the check directly, and put it like that. The company mails you the check directly, and when you get that check directly, you get to do what you want to do with that check. But of course, we're licensed professionals, so you want to keep the integrity. You don't want to seem like you're trying to do anything shady or anything. So, just make sure you stay within the guidelines. Don't get the check and use it for sew-ins and stuff like that. Use it truly for what it's for, something to relate to this individual's hair loss. Okay. And I think over time, we'll eventually be able to get insurance to cover more services, but for now, that is what they're doing. And this is kind of new because they weren't always doing that. The more companies are getting on to it. So thank you. Okay, I'm glad everybody getting it. Let me go back to the PowerPoint. All right, so this is the user registration process begins here. I'm actually going to I'm going to put the link up in just a moment. If you want to follow along with me, here is the website. This is the website right here to get your insurance number. So if you want to type that into your browser and, you know, kind of have me just loud where you can follow along, you can go to that link. That is a direct link, which will take you to the application. But I'm gonna just give you a little bit background on what all this does. So this is the user registration process. It begins on this screen. Well, actually the screen has changed. So the next screen will have the updated screen. And what you'll be doing is you'll be registering your business on your professional, you'll be registering your business or your professional email. So whatever email that you are using for your business, that's the email you need to put, because this email will be used on a national registry. So if you are put in the system with Blue Cross Blue Shield, when they look you up, this is the email they're going to see. So don't put your personal email. Make sure it's an email. Like, for example, my salon is called, my hair restoration studio is called Healthy Hair Solutions Corp. So my email is healthyhairsolutionscorp@gmail.com. You know, you don't want to say Big Sassy 1959. You know, you don't want to have that. Make sure it is a professional email. And you know, let me know if you actually. Okay, that's a good question. Can you make a custom wig and build that? Roxanne, I'm gonna come back to that. Well, you know, since I'm not in the application, I'll go ahead and answer that. So Roxanne, when it comes to can you make a custom wig, I know a lot of individuals are into that. They're doing the medical wigs where so this is a question I'm answering right now. So they're doing the medical wigs right now, and with the medical wigs, I mean, they'll actually do the hand wigs at home, meaning that they might use a sewing machine, or they may do the wig ventilation and things like that. So in most cases, those wigs only cost, you know, usually price them, but I usually see about $300 to $500. Some of them are less than that. So when you the steps that you would want to do an insurance claim, you want to make sure it's even worth more than that. Like, honestly, I wouldn't want to do an insurance claim if the wig is not more than $1,000 or more. But I'm gonna come back to that in the end and go into more details. But that is a really good question, so I'm gonna make sure I tag that question because I want to really break that down. But I'm just trying to give everybody time to kind of go to the website. This is the website that I want you guys to go to for those who are going to follow along, or you can come back to it. So you can get this number. Once you guys do this application, you can get your number in like the next week. I mean, in the same week, sometimes the same day. So, hey, if you want to go ahead and get this out when you have the time while we're all kind of on downtime. All right, so to the left, this is what you will see. When you go to this website, go to this link, you will go to this page. And you're going to go to the right side of the page where it says create a new account, and click on that. And if there's anybody that's following, just let me know. I can slow it down. Oh, let me make it bigger. Sorry. If anybody's following along, let me know if I need to slow down. You can put a stop sign. I'll get it. I'll get the hint. But you would click on this item that says create or manage an account. Now, the next screen that is going to come up is going to say, you know, the terms and conditions. And it's just kind of pretty much explaining, you know, that this is the computer that you're going to be using for this stuff. This is a government authorized website. So you want to make sure that anything that you're putting in is honest. And that's why I'm saying, you know, make sure you're putting in a professional email. It can be a Gmail. It can be email, Yahoo. It can be Hotmail. But just make sure it's a professional name, because other professionals are going to use this. You are actually being listed, guys, as a provider with other providers. And anybody who's jumping on now, like I said, we're just going through the application and we are not far into it, but we're just going into the application steps. So press accept and go on to the next page. And when you click accept, after accepting the terms and conditions, it will lead you to this screen where you actually begin making an account. All right, and you will click, of course, the create account now. Now, once you get an account, of course, you can go into the sign in and you'll just skip all of this, but you will click on create account now. And this will be you registering your facility. You have the option of either registering your facility name or registering your name as an individual. So if you're an individual who works maybe at another person's salon, use your name. So if I'm working for, I'm gonna say Smart Styles. If I'm working at Smart Styles at Walmart, I don't want to put Smart Styles for Walmart. I will want to put Amber McCray is getting an NPI number, because you'll be the one doing the claims. And that is okay. You can put your names on the claim. All right. I know a lot of people, and you can always go back in and change up, guys. You can change up your processes. So once you get into that, it's going to take you to making a user ID. We already know how this goes. Do your user ID, follow the standards that go with that. I typically use the beginning part of my email. So let's say my email is healthyhairsolutionscorp@gmail.com. I use the Healthy Hair Solutions Corp part, just to kind of keep things persistent. And it's easy to remember. And then your password, you just got to follow the guidelines with that. Make sure that it has at least one letter, one number. You have to have a special character, the typical guidelines for a password. And you'll make sure you confirm that. But down below that, you'll get into the security questions. Please make sure that you remember your security questions. I do know sometimes people run into a little trouble doing this part of the application, but they have your questions 1, 2, 3, and it's simple things like what's your father's middle name, your county of residence, things like that. But make sure you put it in and remember them. Make sure there's no questions. So anybody have any questions so far? All right. So after you have submitted that, of course, you'll click the continue button. Like I said, both of these screens are on the same page. You'll click the continue button, and it's going to take you to doing your user ID information. So, of course, you need your first name, last name, business number, your business phone number. It can be the same as your personal phone number, but whatever you take business calls on, that's the phone number you need to put. Your date of birth, your social security number, because it'll be linked to you at this moment, and then your personal phone number. Now, usually, like I said, there'll be another application I think that's going to come later on. Like I said, they kind of changed up the application process, but eventually, instead of your SSN number, they're going to be asking for your EIN number. So if you do not have an EIN number, your employee identification number or tax ID number, all the same thing, you need to make sure you get one. The personal phone number, and of course, putting your home address. It does not have to be the shop address for this application. This is your personal information. So your personal address, where you live in it, where you receive mail. All right. And then it'll take you on to the authentication, which is just kind of getting additional security. They used to not have this, but they're going to send a code. You're going to, where it says authentication method right here, you're going to select primary authentication method. So you can either do email or text message. I like to do the text message. I might not be near my computer or something like that. You could, well, clearly I'll be on my computer, but I usually do the text message, and what they'll do, they'll text a code to your phone. So once you click that type, press continue, they're going to send a text message. They're going to have that code, and then they're going to ask you to enter in this code right here, in this box right here. And of course, if you didn't receive the text message, you'll press next. But then you'll click verify code. And honestly, after that, you'll be complete. So to say that your information was verified, they've actually made this application a little bit easier. Just they made it easier, but increased the security. And then you just click complete registration, of course. And after that, let me make sure there's no questions. As you can see, guys, it's not that hard. But after that, you click complete registration, and you'll at least be registered. And like I said, there will be more information that'll come after that, but they'll actually go ahead and send your, now the new way, they're actually sending you the NPI number from this information. Okay. So, they give you those options here. If you're an individual provider, you will be able to see the associations with the NPI because they're going to send it to your home page. If you're sometimes, like, you might want to have other users under your NPI. You can add them. You'll be able to go back and add them. You can come back into your login and do that. If you're a staff end user, like meaning that you're the main employer, you'll be able to do your claims. And at starting out, I would be the main person at first, just to keep things simple. And, but you'll be able to go back in and add people if you need to. So, any questions so far, guys? I'm sorry about that, guys. I don't know how I got out of the room, but any questions so far? Because I'm going to go back to the screen in just a moment. Share screen. I love technology, but I tell you, it's so delicate. Okay, I see a question. Okay, so because can everybody see me again? I don't know what made me go out. And can everybody see me? Are we back? Let me know. Can everybody see me? Then we're still good. So that is pretty much the application process. Okay. Now there are a few details that sometimes the application used to ask. That's how I say the application has gotten quite simpler. Okay, everybody good. Okay, making sure I was back in. Thank you, guys. Yes, good. So there are a few things that the application details, like, if you need these details for if they ask you anything later when you go back in to register your business name, you will need things like your business. What is your business type? So guys, at this point, we do want to make sure that we know what type of business we are. Are we a sole proprietor? And that's most times those are individuals who, hold on, make it bigger. Are you a sole proprietor? Those are individuals, we might be doing booth rent, or we're renting under somebody, or are you incorporated or a corporated business? And that is when we're doing the LLCs, the S Corp, the C Corp. That's a whole nother lesson for a whole nother day. But it will ask you what type of business you are. If you're nervous, not sure, put sole proprietorship. Okay, but please learn your business type so you can, because these applications ask for that information. Provider taxonomy, meaning we have a code that we fall under. Because we are durable medical equipment providers that provide hair restoration, hair cranial prosthesis services. Our taxonomy is just our category. This is the number right here that we fall under. And that is, I think it stands for specialist, because we don't fall under, like, we're not a doctor, we're not a counselor, we're not a psychologist. People look at us as all these great things. We actually do all this stuff, but we don't have those certifications. So our taxonomy is under this code right here, the 1744, all those zeros and the X. Okay. And then also, and that just represents our state license as well. We want to make sure that we put that we are either a master cosmetologist or a barber, and we are a specialist. We're just keeping it simple as that, because we are specialists. We are hair loss specialists. So we want to make sure that we do that. Now, what is next? So after you have done this application, you want to make sure that, I don't know why I'm telling these technology. So after you have done the application, you will get your NPI will be delivered to you in the email. It'll take less than 7 days. Most times, guys, people get it the next day. Okay. So you will get your NPI number. Like I said, it's almost like getting your employee identification number. And then if you already have a certificate of completion in a field of hair loss, meaning trichology, hair loss practitioner, hair loss specialist. Hair loss specialist that covers the non-surgical hair replacement. If you have a certification in any of those fields, you can enroll as a provider from this point on. All right. I'm here to help with that if you need help. So additional trainings and certifications are available, and I'll make sure I can email them to you. So if you are interested in getting extra information on this additional services that can help you in your business, I will drop the link in the page because you are in that free community where you'll get the access to this stuff. Or I say, send me your email and I'll put you on my email.